All I can say is wow. Just fucking wow, Blizzard. Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm finally back with another video, and according to this article on boundingintocomics.com, former World of Warcraft dev Mark Curran responds to the rumors of Blizzard turmoil. The attitude described about monetization, how devs view gamers, and hate of streamers is true overall in AAA dev. Not a good fucking look, Blizzard, especially with the run of PR you've been going through recently. Not a good look, but at any rate, let's go into this article so we can get a gauge of where the truth lies overall. So without further ado, let's dive into this, shall we? In response to rumors that Blizzard is currently bleeding players and struggling to retain interest in their titles, a major developer and original World of Warcraft team lead Mark Curran recently offered his opinion on the unconfirmed claims, asserting, "It may not be legit, but the attitude described about monetization and how devs view gamers and hate of streamers is true overall in AAA dev." Again, not a good look, if this is at all true. The rumors surrounding the once esteemed video game developer first appeared online on July 11th when the anonymous 4chan user take 4chan with a huge grain of salt. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that everything on 4chan is a lie, but don't take it as verbatim, necessarily. User claiming to be a Blizzard employee took to the site's board to vent on the current state of the company. According to the user, almost every product in the company's library is suffering to some extent. For example, the latest WoW expansion, Shadowlands, is reportedly a shit show with no solid direction, which no higher up expected because of their "we are too big to fail, if we build it, they will come" mentality. Is that not exactly necessarily just Blizzard mindset necessarily? It's basically a mindset within the entertainment industry as a whole, especially when they have no creativity whatsoever for the most part, and they just bank on every fan, quote unquote fan, being a brand loyalist. That's what they bank on now for the most part. So I'm not exactly surprised here if this is at all true, the whole "we are too big to fail" mentality. Oh, we'll put out any product and they'll just buy it. When you have people doing that, I'm not surprised that companies think that way. But let's move on. To that end, the user also stated that, quote, "the elephant in the room is Final Fantasy XIV, as the people in charge don't even seem to understand why it's drawing players away in their tens of thousands. Maybe it's a good fucking game. Maybe that's why. The higher-ups just seem so pig-headed and digging their heels in with their fingers in their ears, thinking all the problems will go away because WoW is too big to fail. There will never be real competition and they will keep coming back," explained the user. But they aren't coming back anymore, not in the numbers they used to. Again, like I said, I'm not necessarily surprised at that fucking mentality because we're seeing it across the board in the entertainment industry. But at the same time, you have to just laugh at the arrogance in that mentality. And how they bank on everyone being a brand loyalist, just a fanatic for the product. Not a fan, but a fanatic. Doesn't work like that. At least, it never used to. It never used to, but now they're pandering to that fringe element within fandoms. And they have the audacity to wonder why they are hemorrhaging money for the most part. Noting that the mood in the company is tense, but also very much it's just a rough transition period, the supposed employee offered a grim vision of Blizzard's future, detailing how Activision has been pushing hard for Blizzard to release more regular product and to generate more income per user, which as far as they know will involve a transition over the next 5 years to much larger mobile tablet gaming focus. Good job, Blizzard. I have nothing against mobile or tablet games. Nothing against it. I have a couple games on my smartphone myself, but I generally play them when I'm waiting in line at the grocery store or I'm lying in bed at night and I'm trying to fall asleep. And just kind of relaxes me, the games I play, which are typically puzzle games. But I don't think of myself as a fucking gamer with those games. Those are I'm bored games, I need to relax games, versus this right here. If this is all true, Blizzard, I played Diablo. You were my first fucking PC game. My brothers played StarCraft. How did you end up like this? By all accounts, not just WoW, but Overwatch was intended to be the moneymaker in the interim, but once again someone had the bright idea to kill a game casual players loved on the altar of esports, hoping for another brood war, they added. From what I hear, the told you so's were loud and a lot of people walked beyond Jeff Kaplan. I don't have an issue with casual gamers. No issue whatsoever with casual gamers. None whatsoever. But you can't ignore them either. Yes, most gamers do play on normal to higher difficulty settings. But again, you can't ignore the casual gamers. They also spend money on your product. And you can read all this. I'll be posting the link to this article in the description. It's apparently not just the games either, but also the studio's reputation, as Blizzard is now allegedly seen as the, quote, bad guy of the MMO industry. This newfound notoriety has supposedly had an effect on Blizzard's hiring practices, as the user revealed that this new position as an industry heel has also made the total number of new hires decline. Not significantly, but the "you want Blizzard on your resume" line doesn't seem to have the appeal it used to. I can imagine it used to be, "you want to have Blizzard on your resume," to now it's, "you want to have Blizzard on your resume?" The user continued, "This has led to more hiring via friend of a friend, to some rumblings about nepotism, and people being hired who are severely lacking in experience because they get great Twitter optics." Stop fucking doing that! Twitter is not real life. Twitter is not the gaming sphere. Don't gauge any fucking thing off of Twitter. Another issue touched upon by the user was how employees are not being told to disengage from Twitter, with an apparent email reminder being sent out more than once lately stating, if you are not customer relations, you should not be representing the company to customers, especially if you cannot remain professional. Furthermore, the user also claimed that some at Blizzard view the connection between the devs and its player base as some kind of antagonistic relationship where the goal is not being an entertainer putting on a show for a crowd, but some kind of game hunter trying to trap a large, profitable kill. All I can say is, Jesus. The supposed employee did touch on the topic of wokeness in regards to Blizzard's troubles, admitting that while it's not all some grand SJW conspiracy, people really do want people to feel welcome and represented. We need everything vetoed by people not working on it to see if it's inoffensive and bland enough rubs some of us the wrong way. There has been some drop-offs with "go woke, go broke" as the only answer in the survey when unsubbing, they added, but honestly we are losing subs in unforeseen numbers anyway and still making more money than ever through cash shop heavy users, so it honestly doesn't make any impact. Sometimes it's not all about whether or not a company is going woke necessarily, is if they are putting out just a shit product in general, no one's going to buy it. No one's going to fucking buy it, so I can see it this way as well. If it's crap, genuine fans are going to shut their wallets and spend the money where they're actually getting a quality product. It's as simple as that. 2 days after their initial posting, the above rumors caught the attention of Kern, who took to his personal Twitter account to discuss how, while the specific anecdotes themselves may not be legit, the attitude described about monetization and how devs view gamers and hate of streamers is true overall in AAA dev. Alright, personal Twitter. Kern went on to expound on a couple of things that happened in AAA dev that led up to this point, starting with the unsurprising fact that the biggest thing is money. Once AAA gaming got bigger than all media, you start to attract a lot of execs who are in it for the immense profit versus the love of making games, said Kern. This change starts at the top and is made worse by game companies going public. Not disagreeing there. He continued, this starts to flow down to middle management who are starting to make serious cash. The why of a company changes. Instead of going for games they would love to play and identifying as gamers themselves, there is now a sense of other, Kern remarked. We made the games, they pay for them. So it's no longer for the fans, by the fans. It's for the fans, by people viewing them as basically the unwashed masses, brand loyalists for the most part. It's us and them mentality, not us. Not us as gamers, not us as playing these games for the love of the fucking game. And I'm seeing this, I'm agreeing with this because I'm seeing this with other companies. Not just Blizzard. Because they view us as, they've been buying our product for this long, so they're going to keep buying our product no matter how much effort we put into it. Recalling how OG Blizzard culture used to be, we are gamers right down to the receptionist, and we make games for ourselves because we are gamers, he lamented. That is gone now, and devs at many AAA studios are distinctly us versus them, the whiny, entitled gamers. Again, not just with Blizzard, I'm seeing it across the fucking board. Now, is it every developer? No. It's not every developer. But it's enough to the point where I'm like, I want to spend money on these games. I'm interested in these games, but I don't want to be seen as just the whiny, entitled gamers as he's described here. I don't want to be seen as a brand loyalist who's going to buy any shit product just because it has a logo on it that I grew up loving. It doesn't fucking work like that. This was not helped by the increase in personal attacks on devs by gamers themselves, he observed. Gamers are passionate, and unfortunately this sometimes moves beyond criticizing the game to personal attacks and some really unsavory and threatening behaviors. I also agree with this to an extent. I don't think it's as prevalent as they make it out to be necessarily, but at the same time, yes, there are those fringe elements, those quote-unquote crazies in any fucking fandom who do this shit, but it is not at all indicative of the entire gaming sphere, the entire gamer culture as a whole. So while you can point at specifics, don't generalize. So I agree with this to an extent. I don't agree with it to the point where it's like, I would say it's a big enough reason to warrant a response like that. Turning back to the money, Kern further noted, once games were obvious moneymakers and everyone started to play them and a cool rep, you started to attract a different type of developer. The first wave did it for free, made very little money, very little success, just to make dreams happen, said Kern. But once games were viewed as a stable myth and more glamour career choice with good pay, you started to attract the types of professionals who are very good at their job, but are definitely what I call the 9-to-5ers. They treat it not as a passion, but as a routine job. It's like my dad asked, do you want a job or do you want a career? A job is the 9-to-5, wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, get up the next morning, and same fucking routine. Career, that's what you're passionate about. That's what your love is. So do you want that job or a career? Which one do you want? And now we're seeing that with the game developers, where it's not a passion, it's not a career, it's just a job. Just a fucking job. And we are seen as just the customer. Just the ones who will open up our wallets, shell out our hard-earned money on crap. So long as they give us just enough kernels of entertainment to keep us coming back. And now we are seeing more people walking away from certain companies, more people walking away from certain developers. You want to send a message? Don't buy the product. Don't support a company. It's not hashtags on Twitter. It's not petitions on change.org. They don't pay attention to that fucking shit. They really don't. Not all the time. They do, however, pay attention to when they get kicked in the money bags by you spending your money elsewhere. So if you don't like what Blizzard's doing, look at other game developers. For example, Naughty Dog. I'm not going to go into everything that Naughty Dog did. You can watch my past videos if you choose. But you have them as a company under Sony and Sucker Punch as a company under Sony. Naughty Dog developed a sequel to a beloved game where they crapped on the original game and lied to customers. Sucker Punch gave customers, gamers, a game, an original game, fairly original storyline, where you're playing as a character and you're actually invested in the story. Which one did most people gravitate to? It's like I said, simple as that. Simple as that. You want to send a message? Show them where you're spending your money. The developer then reminded his followers that, again, this wasn't helped by upper management, who by now is fully flooded with MBA and marketing types who treat devs poorly and binge hire and fire them from project to project, treating them as tools, adding that it's hard to have passion when both management and angry gamers don't have your back. I'd say most of the fault lies on the management side. Now, I'm not saying there aren't angry gamers out there, but I don't see that fringe element as a big enough reason to have it as a comparison to how the management feels about their customer base. That's just my personal opinion. However, a major turning point in the industry culture apparently came when Zynga blew up on Facebook and metrics were becoming important along with predatory monetization. When mobile exploded and everything became free but with pay to win, the sheer scale of gaming profits leapt an order of magnitude or two forwards, recurring billions, not millions. Don't you love pay to win? Don't you fucking love pay to win? As such, suddenly, making games for game's sake was not the goal, but instead, now games needed to collect metrics, retain users, and the way success was judged was more about how much money per user you could make versus having a great game. Again, most of the fault on management. The focus moved from gameplay to monetization metrics, Kern asserted. When you design for monetization metrics, you get a very different type of game than if you design for gameplay. The two are often at odds. You find yourself deliberately making your game worse so it can sell better convenience items and power items. Again, like most of the blame, not saying, again, not taking any blame away from angry gamers, because there are those fringe crazies out there, but from what I'm seeing, a lot of it is on the management's mentality right now and handling of their business. Linking to an old interview given by Apple co-founder Steve Jobs to Designer's Digest, Kern declared, "Steve Jobs was right. When you let this type of why drive your company and you make monetization the only goal, you kill the innovation in your company and you drive out the innovators and makers. Fucking yes, you do." While Jobs was talking about sales and marketing staff versus product makers in games, it's worse, clarified Kern. In games, designers are now the sales staff. The gamification of monetization makes or breaks a AAA game. So now even your product people are contaminated with this mentality. Basically, it's the quote, "The fish rots from the head." As for the devs who do it for the passion, who are tired of being blamed by gamers for corporate decisions above them, sorry, I don't necessarily blame the game developers. I don't necessarily blame them unless they come out and personally attack gamers. Like I said, a lot of my frustration is at the upper levels. Because the game developers can only do what they are allowed to do, how much rope they're given, how much freedom they are given when they develop a game. And if they're not given a lot of freedom, if not given a lot of leeway or a lot of creative input into the games, this is what we're seeing. And a lot of it, like I said, the fish rots from the head. Trickles down. Like the military, shit rolls downhill. And unfortunately, the game developers themselves get the worst of it. That's what we're seeing in the gaming industry now. That's what we're seeing. And I'm fucking over it. I really am. And who do it out of genuine passion, Curran asserted. While they leave and go indie, and thus what remains are those who are doing it as a job. One they often hate, and they are not innovators. They're the 9-to-5ers, as he said earlier. The arrogance is also real, added the Emulator developer. Steve talks about how you get surprised because you have a monopoly on the market. WoW had the monopoly on MMOs, and they are no longer gamers, but game salespeople, so of course they are prone to disruption. Moving to address the subject of Final Fantasy XIV, Kern stated in this case it wasn't Square and Final Fantasy by itself. That just happened to be a game that was not competing on gameplay instead of monetization because they are not the monopoly. It's also an old enough game where the old values of gameplay were more important, he reasoned. What sparked the exodus from WoW started with a player base that was tired of being treated as customers that were often treated in Monopoly. Taken for granted, poor service in terms of content, not being listened to, milked for cash, and fees. There you go. Kern next spoke to how streamers are the world's biggest force in game marketing, arguing that they can make you a success overnight with zero trade marketing, Apex Legends, or they can absolutely tear your game down. There you go. Many in traditional AAA game marketing never understood this, and many still don't get it today, continued Kern. When streamers were just getting started, I was told by my EA and AAA staffed marketing team what a waste it was to do YouTube and Twitch, even though it cost a fraction of an ad spend. It's like I say, whenever, like Warner Brothers in specific, copyright claim videos, we're basically free fucking advertising for you people. We're pretty much it. Us playing the game is us reviewing the game. We are literally free marketing for you assholes. Of course they were wrong, and they now curry favor and spend money on Twitch and YouTube. But they don't really understand it. They spend money on it, but they don't actually watch the streams to understand when things are going wrong. Or they don't believe it will affect them, he tweeted. Ostrich head in the sand mentality. Pointing to the recent stream held by streamer Asmongold, in which the popular WoW player tried out Final Fantasy XIV, Kern described how, when Asmongold started dipping his toes into alternatives to WoW, interviewing Final Fantasy content creators and then finally playing it himself on stream, Blizzard was unaware of or unbelieving of what was happening. They were the monopoly. Even Asmongold was taken by shock at the sheer number of viewers his Final Fantasy stream attracted, said Kern. Even he had underestimated the number of dissatisfied and curious for alternative WoW gamers. There you go. Asking, well, what happens in streaming, the dev went on to explain, once one content creator hits a gold vein of views, others quickly hop on. Suddenly you have many WoW streamers talking about Final Fantasy and starting to stream it. You kind of see that happening on Twitch, where someone starts streaming maybe a new game or something, and then it catches fire, and then so you see others on Twitch streaming the same game, getting people to watch it from their perspective. It happens. It fucking happens. It's not just alternatives to games, it's just sometimes people want to know if they should spend the money or not, and they choose to watch streamers, gamers they trust, before they make up their mind. It happens. And I believe this when he says this. What's a WoW gamer to think? He asked in a follow-up. The rest is history. The king is dethroned, an expression of shock on his face. Sometimes you don't need the best product, you just need to be good enough to take advantage of a company that has rested too long on their brand and monopoly to actually change, innovate, and improve. Basically, they becoming complacent. Nearing the end of his thread, Kern warned that this won't stop. WoW gamers are leaving for good, while simultaneously advising Blizzard to wake up and pull an expansion out as a turnaround as drastic as Square itself did with A Realm Reborn, if it had wanted to have any hope of being able to flip it around again. The problem is Blizzard. You chased all your innovators away, he concluded. Oh well. Oh well. That's all we can fucking say at this point. Oh well. Oh well. We gave you chances. We gave you opportunities. You decided not to listen. We're going to spend our money elsewhere. What do you make of Kern's take on the AAA gaming industry? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down below. So there it is, folks. There it is. Again, oh well. Oh fucking well. That's all we can say because I've been a gamer for most of my life. I give companies a chance. If I like a game, I play it constantly. Blizzard, like I said earlier, was one of the first PC games I ever played with Diablo. So I do have a little bit of love there. But I don't have any love for how Blizzard and other AAA game developers, companies I should say, have become so complacent, so mismanaged, so antagonistic towards gamers themselves that I choose to spend my money where I don't get vilified. And that's what we need to do, basically, gamers. That's what we need to do, whether you're gamers, comic book fans, or movie fans. Spend your money where you're not vilified. That's what companies listen to. That's what they listen to overall. They don't listen to hashtags, for the most part. They don't listen to petitions signed. Otherwise, if they did, this Disney movies would have been trashed long before now because there were plenty of fucking petitions following The Last Jedi. But we still have them, folks. So guess what? Companies don't listen to that. You want to send a message, don't support that company. Support other companies who are actually passionate themselves, who are fans themselves, who want to give fans a good product. I don't know how many different ways I can explain that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree with Kern? Do you disagree with Kern? What do you make of Blizzard and the situation there? And or just the gaming industry in general? Let me know all that fun stuff down in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Share on social media if you will. I will be going live tonight for another live episode of The Cringe Factory. So tune in to that at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will also be streaming on Twitch. My Twitch channel this week. Anywhere from Thursday to Saturday. It all depends on my schedule. I will be trying to finish up Resident Evil 8. I'm so fucking close right now. I can just about taste it. So I'm going to try to finish that up. I will also be on My Nerdy Homes channel this coming Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern for our weekly live stream, Talk Nerdy to Us. So I will see you over there for all that fun stuff. Like, share, subscribe, share on social media. Again, this is Mara Jade, catching you on the dark side, and get your shit together, Blizzard.